we're doing some work with quite a few corporations. And imagine that happening midday or at 2 o'clock. And now imagine one more step, that you get a chance to have a break for 10 minutes. We don't need to do 30, maybe 30 the first time to get a little more going. But then imagine leaving at the end of the day with more energy than when you started. And now you've got time for your family. I mean, I want to work at that company, right? So that's some of the fun corporate wellness. And adding a whole other dimension that's starting to occur now. So, and you have another
smile. Another smile.
You got a nice grin.
People ask, what do you guys do? We put smiles on people's faces. That's what we do.
With a blanket. Yeah. So how are you feeling? What's going on? Super good. Now, this gentleman has shared with me that according to the X-rays, a rotator cuff major problem, right?
Well, shoulders.
Yeah, well, actually, there's no ligaments or something, right?
Right.
And yet you got some pretty good function, which.
Oops.
And the cool thing is it still works pretty good. So. No, it works good. I've had to drop them about 7 or 8 times before it had to put the batteries in a little different. So they keep on clicking. So what are you feeling?
Well, for one, I've got more movement. My wrist is pretty low.
And we didn't work on the wrist at all, right?
No.
Nowhere. Okay.
So it's not bothering me as, I don't feel anything at all in it. Still.
Good.
I don't know if you noticed it, but beginning his shoulders were more forward, more of the hunch. And where's his shoulders now? Right?
Yeah, look at that.
I mean, I've worked with a lot of wonderful manual adjusters, and the difference is let's crack. We'll get rid of that hunch over. But you know why that hunch over is there? Any idea? Our heart is what's bathing us, all right, or receiving. And if we don't have that, what do? Is we hunch over to protect all of it. And so when we give the energy that the body needs, then we can go back. So, and not that an adjustment won't help, but adjustment won't always give the extra energy needed, so this occurs that fast. And what will happen a lot of times, you'll hear the manual adjustment itself, right? The body will just crack. And the reason I ask is our Santa Claus looking gentleman is an awesome chiropractor, energy worker, all sorts of fun stuff. So, thank you.
Well, the range of motion is probably still pretty much the same.
Oh.
But what I
Needs more scanner.
I told you, 15
Needs more scanner.
No, what I did notice was that I now have pulsation.
Oh,
Shoulders.
energy.
So that means
Energy. Good.
So I can actually feel the heartbeat, pumping.
Oh, that's good.
Right now.
Some life in the area.
Energy level, how is that?
It's up.
Okay,
Definitely up.
feel a little more reserved? Like you could go dancing now?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Well, before, could you have gone dancing?
No.
Big difference. Again, quality of life.
Learn how.
Oh, well. But you're going to play the piano like never before.
Like never again.
This is a gentleman we met just last Sunday here at the Miracle Center. So, thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Can you see now that the solution which is around us can be changed and allowed so the body can receive that solution? Have you guys seen that? Is there anyone here who wouldn't want to have that solution? No? Okay, so that's a big thing. So we're looking at that. The other thing that I find fascinating is many people will do things to assist their dog or their friends or get the big screen TV or whatever for comfort. But what is fun is how we can use this stuff to create these healing partnerships. Do you know how do you feel that person who had that burn, the person who helped her, who do you think might have even gotten more out of that relationship? Do you think they both benefited? All right, and that's what we're talking about here, is creating a healing partnership. All right, working with clients who become friends to assist them to get where they want to go, and at the same time we have a way to reflect back what we need. One of the beautiful things about being with Dr. Arena, with my wife, is the fact that we can reflect back to each other. And we have this wonderful technology that assists us in that. And it's an extension of ourselves, so it's just kind of amazing stuff. You know, it's fun. It's where, you know, we go to a regular doctor's office, we don't get that. We don't get that connection. We don't get that stuff. Another person back here has a wonderful healing center. And isn't it great when you get that connection? And that's what the real reward is. So now a layperson with this technology can do many times better than the best clinic in the world. And why do you think that's true? Why are they going to get better results? Just what do you think?
The care.
The care can come through, okay? But then we have the feedback to know that the regeneration occurs. We have the reflection of the body getting what it needs. See, it's not just a one solution. I don't think there's one solution to everything. It takes many different things to provide a solution. And I ask another question here. How many people here have parents who are going to need some assistance in the next 5 or 6 years? Right? Any people here have other loved ones who are going to be needing some pretty big assistance? Right? Have you ever gotten that phone call from someone real special to say, hey, guess what's happening to Dad? Dad's diabetic neuropathy is so bad now that he can't hold a glass of water. He can't hold a fork in his left hand. And he's been in the wheelchair for the last 1.5 years, and he's gone to the best neurologist, wonderful chiropractor, wonderful physical therapist, wonderful GP. Sugar levels get monitored all the time. But the thing is that dad, that wonderful man, was still degenerating, meaning the new cells were less good than the ones that they replaced. So I got that call. What are you going to do? So I flew in, and we had a prototype of the Dove, and within 30 minutes, I put the Dove here, and I think I'm a great practitioner, right? So, you know, I'm here doing that, and Dad got almost full use of his, you know, sausage-like fingers. You know, the right hand, you know, fingers look great, but the other ones are just, they're sausage-like from all the inflammation that's occurring. I watched the inflammation decrease. Wow, that was good.
Sorry.
That was like, wow, it almost felt like playtime, right? But then a horrific happened, is I realized, oh my gosh, I'm leaving the next day. And I'm leaving my dad there without a therapist, with maybe I'll be able to leave him the technology. But I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to help him? And immediately it's, okay, could I train a massage therapist and get them the equipment? And then all of a sudden that idea just left, but another idea came. I asked my mom for a second. I said, Mom, what's going on for you? And what do you think Mom said? Well, don't worry about me. Just take care of George. Well, meanwhile, she's the one who's lifting George up to get him on the toilet in order to do it. So I think we need to take care of Mom. So what did George say in a heartbeat? Well, Kit, tell him about the lower back pain, and tell him about how big your knee is, and tell him about how your ankles hurt so much, you know? And all of a sudden, it was like, quick as a whip, oh my gosh, we can create something here, and that's called a healing partnership. And I asked Dad, I said, Dad, can you take this device and go up and down the spine on Mom? Oh yeah, no problem. In fact, I showed him how. Can you make sure that Mom spends 5 to 10 minutes a day going over her knee with the laser and the scanner? Yeah, I can do that. In fact, I'm going to make sure she does it, right? Sometimes nagging is good, right? And when Mom couldn't reach her ankles, Dad could easily hold her feet up and work on her. So what do you think how Dad felt about helping Mom now? You had a guy in a wheelchair now being able to be a health giver, right? So he's giving. Now you have a very strong woman, and what is she doing? She's now receiving. And right there, you got a healing partnership, because you have a flow. You know, the greatest thing there ever is just to love and be loved in return. That came from a wonderful song called Nature Boy. And that was an amazing thing that Mom, and then I asked Mom, can you work with Dad? And quick as a whack, of course I can work with him. You know, I can't work with me, but I can work with him because I'm going to take better. The love there for him was more than her love for herself. So what do you think happened over the next 3 days when they started working? And I left. They had the equipment. What do you think happened? Excuse me? Okay, amazing shifts happened. When I called back 2 days later, now it's the third day after our treatment, I asked, hey, is Dad there? No, he's not. Well, where's Dad? Oh, he's driving the car to the garbage dump. I said, whoa. Mom, Dad hasn't been able to drive the car for 2 weeks. 2 years. What the hell happened? Well, we've been working with each other, not for 20 minutes, but about an hour a day. And David, it's so great to give to Dad, and it's so great to receive from him. But now he's got his, not a walker, but what do they call it, a cane, and he was able to take the garbage out, which means he had to take it to the car, and then he had to drive 2 miles to the dump, because they don't have service where they are in Virginia. Now, is that cool or what? How do you think his esteem felt? Being back in society helping. All right, so that was cool. All right, and then we fast forward another 2 weeks. Some other gentleman answered the phone when I called. See, for the last 4 years, he wasn't able to be a minister anymore because he made this commitment that if he wasn't strong enough to stand up in front of the congregation to give the message, that it wouldn't be a good thing, you know. So, and he told me in 2 weeks he was strong enough to stand up in front of the congregation without the walker or anything, and he was able to give the message. So when I called him, he answered the phone, Pastor. And my immediate reaction is, Dad, you got a gig. You're back in there. All right. Amazing shifts. Now that, he was 77 years old, and then he became 78 years young. Now we're going to fast forward 3 years. Diabetic neuropathy, okay, in a wheelchair, doing the drool, can't take care of himself. What's the prognosis with that with regular medicine? It ain't gonna be good, right? It's going downhill. 81 years young, driving a car. His physician, who's known him for over 25 years, who diagnosed him with the diabetes, says, George, at 81 years young, you are in better physical shape than you were at 75. Now, diabetic neuropathy says what? The eyes are going to start deteriorating. Blood vessels there are the first things to go, right? So would you think that he would have better vision or worse vision? What would be the normal prognosis? Worse. So bad that he might have diabetic neuropathy, all right? So bad that he might even have macular degeneration. Well, he's had a big problem over 3 years. He's needed 2 reading glass changes. I'm sorry, 1 reading glass changes, but 2 prescription changes. Because now his eyes are seeing better at 81, that his eyesight has less diopters of a need. And his eye doctor says, I can't believe this. This is the first time I've ever seen that. Now that's amazing. And that all started with the Healing Partnership. Now I'm going to share a little bit. That Healing Partnership actually ended about 1.5 years later. My mom died. But she died like a light bulb. And the type of mini strokes that she had would cause normally a very long debilitating time. But her level through the whole time of that 1.5 years that she was with my dad after we got her the equipment was like incredible. The 3rd week, they were walking hand in hand for the first time in 2.5, almost 3 years. I mean, is that cool? But now Dad has the skills of knowing how to take care of himself. So it was just over the bump. The Healing Partnership was to help. But now Dad, being a year or a 1.5 years alone, is still in better shape. So the Healing Partnership worked, and it's still working now even though one of the parties isn't there. Okay? So I think, do you think that this equipment is priceless? Could we ever put anything on there? And that's why when I talked with Lisa, with her husband, that we know that this is going to regenerate him. So you didn't have enough money to buy it, and you did. And what I loved was within 2 weeks, your son was noticing big changes in your husband, right? That he was able, what were some of those changes that were occurring?
Just he was more connected and just, I don't know, just he seemed more connected in the eyes.
Yeah, yeah. And what's that worth? It's priceless.
Yeah, priceless.
So what we're talking here isn't money anymore. It's really giving the gift of pricelessness, right? Things that are beyond that. And what's really fun is the fact that all we have to do is just create new healing partnerships to help. And if we think we don't have the money for the technology, that's a bunch of bull. It just means that we're too arrogant to think that we can create healing partnerships with some other people to do it. So, and it's all good. The fun part is typically, if you ask someone who's had the equipment, you know, I asked my dad, who when I gave him the first laser, you know, Dad, would you pay $3,800 for that? No way! You know, and now you ask him, he goes, hey, I'll give the car, it doesn't matter. My health is so much more important. It's so funny how it shifts when you get it back. You know, it's like then you really understand the pricelessness of it.